This market is awesome, and thank you very much to Tron and his team for welcoming us here again. And I don't know what it is about this place. The first time we came here, there was a mix-up between our committee, and apparently someone thought I was renting it, like arranging for Matrix, our equipment sponsor, to bring a screen, and I thought somebody else was doing it. So we literally came without a screen. We had a projector but no screen. So we ran down the street and rented one. I did it by phone. Great, we can get one. And it came in here and it was 3 feet by 3 feet. Like, it just sat on this little table. I didn't even know they made such. And okay, so the second time we came, we had a screen. We thought, okay, we're all good. And we couldn't see it. This room is very bright, and so the screen wasn't strong enough, and we couldn't see it. I hadn't thought to rent a mic system, and so we also couldn't hear. However, we still had a good morning. It was great. So the third time we come here, we have a flood. And so, like, oh my gosh. So I contacted Tron and said, seriously, are you willing to try this one more time? So we come today and we have literally a movie screen projector, the strongest one that Matrix has. They're a professional company, and there's a problem with the lens today, and it doesn't work. I can't even believe I'm just saying this out loud. So it's just one of the things. Kayla, Callie, and I are just winging it today. We all want to learn about LinkedIn, and I think the information about LinkedIn doesn't necessarily need to be visual. We're going to get a lot of information from the presentation today. Anyway, so my name is Donna. I have a committee of people, and we host this on a monthly basis, and I welcome you here. I'm curious how many people have never been here before. Okay, that's cool. So we do this on the second last Friday of every month. Be guaranteed it will be somewhere on the second last Friday of every month. 10 days before, you still might not know where it is, because we still might be figuring that out, but I guarantee you it will be somewhere. So we have mostly been putting information through Twitter, and we have an Amiando RSVP site that we put details out, and then we have a press release. And there's an address that you can send your email address to, and we'll get you the press release. I can tell you quite a few people have been asked to be added to the list, and in the last month, I've done nothing with that, so a few people didn't get the press release, but please, let me say this, how many people are on Twitter? Because so most of the information that we do is under SMByyc. We've been working on a website for quite a long time, and we actually thought it would go live June 1st. And every one of us on the committee, and there's quite a few of us, we just all have things going on, and it's a bit of a busier, and so again, our website didn't go up, but it will be up in the next couple months, so we can have more current information on the website. So just to give you a bit of information, Kayla is from operating the camera today. She's from Matrix, who is one of our sponsors, and thank you for that. They've been sponsors since the beginning. And another one is Macleod. So those two sponsors, they do our press release. And I'm not going to do much more of an introduction today. I think that all of us are interested in. Oh, I wasn't. Okay, sorry. Yeah, sorry. I'm really going to do this. Really a big, I'd like an applause for Kingsland. We do like coming here. The food and the coffee is great, and we thank you, Tron, and your team, Colin, for having us. So, Colin, where are you sitting? You're here. Colin's right here. Tron is in the back. And if we could, Kingsland Kingsland FM is their Twitter handle. Most of you probably already know that, but Kingsland FM. And it's no accident that I personally wanted to sponsor this breakfast today, because this is a topic that I think is important. We've been wanting to do it for a long time, and I was happy to be a sponsor. What we do at these breakfasts, for you that haven't been here before, is we find a venue that will allow us to meet for free. We find a sponsor that pays $350 to give you something to eat and coffee, and then we have a speaker. So if I'm just going to move to that then and say that we're really excited. Kylie and I, we're all excited for June, and couldn't believe that we had to put it off. So I'm glad that it fit in our schedule to come back today and give us some information about LinkedIn. Kylie works with Rare Method, and I'm just going to let her give you a little bit of a bio about herself. So Kylie?
So as Donna said, I work for Rare Method. They're a full-service marketing advertising agency, and they have their head office based in Mission, just off 17th Ave. So just to echo some of the sentiments already said, thanks for coming. This is my first presentation at a social media breakfast. I'm a little nervous. And at Rare Method, I do all their social media content production. I'll advise clients on their strategies and other odds and ends as needed. So if you have any questions, I was about to say what's on the screen, but there's no screen. If you have any questions, just throw your hand up and I'll do my best to address them as we go. But there's a good chance that it'll be addressed further in the presentation. So if you have a burning urge to ask a question, feel free, but know that it may come up later in the presentation as well. So if you're looking for myself or Rare Method on any of our social channels, pretty easy to find. Facebook.com/RareMethod, LinkedIn.com/company/Rare-Method, or on Twitter @RareMethod. And my Twitter handle is Kayjer. That's Kayjer. So just a basic overview on LinkedIn to begin. There are 3 different ways to use the site, and all will be addressed in the presentation today. LinkedIn is unique in that it's a social media platform that has found a way to successfully implement a pro user account with little to no backlash. They've done this by adding real value to the paid profiles without taking away from the free services. So if you want to sign up for a free account, there's definitely value in that. And to have a presence on LinkedIn is the new digital business card. It's something I'd recommend to anybody looking to expand their network. But if you want to pay to upgrade to a pro account, it's added value. It's things that you can use in addition to the services they already give you. It's a great system. Okay, a little background on LinkedIn. It's a social network established in 2003. It's all about a professional web presence and networking. It's been growing over the last 10 years, and in the last 2 years, it's truly exploded. Now it has more than 225 million users, and growing at a rate of 2 members per second. For any more information on LinkedIn, they have a site outlining their history from 2003 to today. That's just ourstory.linkedin.com. All right, so why use it? There are some pretty clearly defined reasons to get involved with LinkedIn. Number 1 is professional networking. So meeting people in the same industry or city or both is really easy with LinkedIn. Unlike on Facebook, if someone you don't know adds you, it can be a good thing on LinkedIn. Shout out to everyone that I've added in the last month as I looked at my own profile and realized I needed to expand it by quite a bit. Just a point of courtesy as well, if you want to add somebody that you don't know, it's helpful to send a quick message beforehand or immediately after you send the request to let them know why you want to add them. Otherwise, it can be as weird as it is on Facebook when a total stranger says, hey, let's be friends. Common courtesy. So secondly, there's a defined purpose to LinkedIn. So unlike on other social media sites that serve a dual purpose between business and fun, LinkedIn is known for being exclusively business focused. There's really no point in having a business profile and a personal profile, which I don't really believe in anyway. It's also the most known site for this purpose. It's becoming the new digital business card and resume all in one. So again, unlike if you want to have 2 separate profiles on Facebook, one for your company, one for yourself, or if you want to brand yourself and have a Facebook branded page, it's really not necessary on LinkedIn. You can have company pages, but you don't need to have a separate presence. You also don't talk about what you did on the weekend in terms of doing, shots of tequila along the bar. Like, don't put that on LinkedIn. Third reason is recruitment. With 225 million members, that means there's 225 million resumes online. Start searching for the candidates and the roles you're looking to fill, because chances are there's someone that fits your needs and has a profile on LinkedIn. You can save a lot of time and money with the recruitment process if you know where to start. And LinkedIn search functions allow you to use keywords and really hone in on the exact skills that you're looking for in a person. On the flip side of that, there's job opportunities. more and more companies are paying to post jobs on LinkedIn. And by the way, you do have to pay to post a job. You can't just throw it up on your site. You can put a link through your business page to your personal website that you're hiring through. But to use LinkedIn's function for job searching and for candidates, you have to pay for that purpose. And LinkedIn also, if you're a candidate looking for a position, will match you with the jobs that it thinks you're best suited for based on what you've outlined in your profile. And then lastly, there is industry news. So in late 2012, LinkedIn introduced the Influencers program and started curating high-quality content very rapidly. And they're now the foremost business information source online. So I'll say that again. They are the foremost online source for business content. That's above and beyond the New York Times, Business Week, Marketing Magazine, you name it. That's nothing to shake a stick at. And they've done that in less than a year, just by really focusing on people who create quality content and asking them to do it exclusively for LinkedIn. Okay, so regardless of what you're trying to get out of LinkedIn and your profile there are some general things that you should have on your profile. So number one is a photo. Your picture should not be a tiny full body shot of you and your friends on vacation in Cabo last summer. The photo should also not obscure your face. I know I had one out for a little while. There was my Nikon camera. I was very excited it was a new camera, so I put the camera in front of my face. Not very helpful for networking, and people actually brought it up to me like, I wouldn't recognize you unless you had your D40 in front of your face. You might want to change your picture. So yeah, how would you expect people to recognize you after events? And no provocative or risque shots. That's a whole other kind of business networking, and now what LinkedIn is for. So recent experience. You need to have your jobs and skills up to date so that anyone viewing your profile knows where you're at and what skills you may be currently developing. What if someone navigates to your page, is looking to fill your dream role, and they're so sad to discover that you don't have the experience necessary? It's even sadder if you do, but you just didn't publish that information yet. Don't be lazy, keep your page updated. Location may seem like a weird thing to address, because it's not necessarily the first thing you think of when you're updating your page, but it's important to appear in the right search results. So, true story, I moved from Edmonton to Calgary last summer, and I retained the same job. It was from within the same company, working just at a different office. So I didn't need to update my LinkedIn, I thought. And for months after, I would get those email updates from LinkedIn telling me about all the fabulous jobs in Edmonton. Why are you trying to get me to move back there? I want to stay here. Stop sending me to Edmonton. And I couldn't figure out what was going on, and it was because I didn't update my address. It's not publicly visible, your home street address. You just put in a postal code, and then it knows where to target your job searches from. So after I fixed that, they started sending me appropriate Calgary jobs to look at. And then lastly, there's a custom URL function as well. So you don't want to be a random string of numbers and letters on any social media site, and LinkedIn is no different. Claim your personal URL. You might have to monkey around with your first, middle, and last name to find one that isn't taken, but do your best to try to find a URL that will very clearly define that it is you. Right. I know some of the opening information is a little basic. I'm trying to go through it, not at a fast clip, but if I am going too fast or too slow, again, just leave and let me know. So setup of your profile. General notes on setting up a full profile. You want to keyword it. LinkedIn functions in some ways a lot like its own search engine. But instead of full sentences like writer working in Calgary, Alberta, it's more about short and punchy keywords like writer Calgary. Write and structure your profile accordingly and treat it more like your SEO copywriting for a website. So keep that in mind as you're trying to fill out your profile. Photo, as previously stated, make sure you have a headshot. Shoulders up, shot of your face so people will recognize you at events. I had a screen cap of my LinkedIn profile and have a headshot. I actually wore the same jacket here today. So again, pretty easily recognizable. If anybody tried to add me to LinkedIn before the event, you wouldn't have a problem recognizing me for who I am. Experience, education, and skills are some of the best ways for connections and potential employers to find you, so help them out. And remember, this is at a minimum. The more the better. There's also projects, courses, volunteer experience, interests, etc. Fill out the profile as completely as you can to maximize your chances of being found for the right reasons. Alright, so at any level of accounts, LinkedIn is fundamentally for networking, and groups will be your best friend. If your profile is optimized properly, it should be easy for people looking for you to find you. But joining groups allows you to connect with like-minded people that you didn't know you wanted to be connected to. So adding someone from a group is a great way to expand your circle in between industry events. Also a signal to people viewing your profile what you're interested in and about. It's cluing in people on how to read who you are, basically. So, for instance, I have 8 to 10 groups on my page already. One is the Calgary Ad Club, Calgary Marketing Club, Calgary Marketing Jobs, journalism alumni from Mount Royal University, the NHL Hockey Networking Community, social media managers worldwide, social media marketing. So, paints a pretty clear picture of what I'm doing now, what I'm interested in, and where I come from. I graduated Mount Royal, I work in marketing, and I kind of really like hockey. So, look through those groups. Again, professional courtesy, send them a message before you randomly add them. Say, hey, I've seen you posting on this group. I think you have a lot of valuable content to add. I'd like to stay connected on LinkedIn. That way you can keep tabs on everyone else and hopefully meet at an event next time one comes up in the city. So companies are another great way to stay connected to information that you're hoping to find. So following your favorite companies and brands on LinkedIn is also a great way to politely, not creepily, show your interest and keep abreast of any job openings or important company updates. Commenting on company updates is also really important. It lets the company see your name, and contributing to the discussion positions you nicely to be a person with some industry knowledge and authority in the eyes of people you want thinking that about you. So if a company, let's say, I do all the posting for Rare Method. Let's say Rare Method posts an ad that we want to talk about, the latest Heineken campaign. What do you guys think? And it's just an open-ended question on our LinkedIn page. The more people that engage with that post, the more likely we are to notice that they're paying attention to us too. Next time we're looking for a coordinator, a manager, anyone on the account side, anyone who has those kinds of great insights, if I see their name in the resume file, I'll remember. And I'll say, hey, I remember that guy. He had that great insight about that Heineken ad. We should talk to him, we should interview him. Guy or girl. All right. And LinkedIn, again, I can't emphasize this enough, has a very clear purpose. Not many social media sites have that. They're kind of amalgamating into this big social blog where you can update and hashtag and tag anyone you like, really, on any of those sites. But LinkedIn, we have some of those functions, but their purpose is so very clearly defined. The top 5 drivers for personal and professional networks. On the personal side, the reasons why you sign up for these sites is to socialize, to stay in touch, be entertained, to kill time, and to share content. But the top 5 drivers to sign up for a professional network are to maintain your professional identity, make useful contacts, search for opportunities, to stay in touch, and to keep up to date for career. So it's the difference between spending time and investing time. Once I post the presentation, Rare Method content channels will push through a link to the actual presentation if you want to view it on your screen. This content was actually from a presentation LinkedIn did here in Calgary back in May, I believe. They invested a lot of time and research into knowing exactly why people sign up for their site, which is how they make it better for us to sign up for their site. Okay, job opportunities. You can search or wait to be found. The activity is private, and they target on industry and location, but not experience. So if your profile is formatted correctly, you may get people coming to you with job offers. If you're if you're a person in Calgary with a limited skill set that is really hard to find, you'll probably get headhunted on LinkedIn. But otherwise, you can search for opportunities, or LinkedIn can suggest a list of jobs well suited to your industry and location. But sadly, the algorithm does not add your years of experience together, so there is the potential to see your dream job and then realize you're still 10 years shy of the experience that they're looking for. It's heartbreaking, I know. So, for instance, I had a capture of some of the job opportunities that LinkedIn is suggesting for me. And some of them make sense. There's a marketing and communication strategist position that was available through Mount Royal, probably a good fit. Marketing and communications coordinator at Shopcore, but then there's a senior public relations specialist with AdFarm, a director of marketing and communications at the Calgary Chamber. Those are jobs that I am not qualified for at this point in time, but LinkedIn just recognizes that I have those keywords in my profile. So Be aware that not every job you find is going to be exactly tailored to your needs. And the activity is private, and applying for and searching for activity is not posted on your activity feed. There's no reason for you to feel like you have to selectively add people from the office or to be wary of your boss seeing you applying to other positions. It's not published, posted anywhere. But if you're doing it at work and they're standing right behind you, then you're 100% vested, and that's not LinkedIn's fault. Don't do that. Okay, and as I mentioned in the brief outline before, LinkedIn is now one of the foremost business content provider through LinkedIn Today and their influencers. So it surpasses any other website that you can think of that you would go to for business content. So that means being part of LinkedIn Today and following the influencers that are in your industry is of a huge benefit to you. You're getting the information straight from the horse's mouth, as it were. In late fall, they named a bunch of influencers to help develop content exclusive to LinkedIn. So if you haven't already, go and define those influencers and follow them for some of the best content that's available. Again, it's also a flag to anybody viewing your profile as to what you're interested in, where your greatest need for information lies. It's a way to guide somebody to viewing your profile. And it's great information for you. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the benefits of a paid profile as opposed to a free account. So the paid profiles allow you more access to analytics and to appear on top of other applicants when it comes to job opportunities, which is of a huge benefit to you. They're going to see your name first. You also get a spiffy little gold logo on your profile, which is nice, but a little less useful. And there's also the added benefit of the ability to in-mail people who don't list their contact information, which is pretty awesome, right? So for instance, at Fair Method, my boss was having issues getting in touch with one of the vendors we were working with to put this website out. And we've been emailing with no response, and we're trying to get in touch with this guy to make sure we can launch this website for our client. And he actually went and paid to upgrade his LinkedIn profile. He got a certain amount of in-mail credits, and he went through the company's LinkedIn site, found their CEO, found a bunch of account managers, and just started messaging everyone. They didn't post their emails. They didn't post them on the website, but with a pro account on LinkedIn, you have the ability to contact these people, even if they don't publish their information there. So it can be of a benefit to you. It doesn't have to be in a negative situation, but if you're dying to get in touch with somebody who can help take your career to the next level, if you just want to start networking and engaging with a set of people, if you have a pro account, you have the ability to get in touch. So if you have a basic account, you get 0 in-mail messages per month. If you're a job seeker, you get 5. A business plan is 10, and an executive is 25. So those are different levels of pay. They all come with different monthly costs. Responses are guaranteed in that if the person you message doesn't respond within 7 business days, you get credit for the in-mail message returned to your account. So if somebody's truly not interested in having people get in touch with them, you can get that credit back and then hopefully find somebody who is interested in getting in touch. So depending on what you're trying to accomplish, having a paid profile can help you make a concentrated effort on building your brand or your personal brand. Free trials are offered all the time. They come into my inbox at least once every month, maybe once every 2 months. So it's worth to sign up and poke around and see if it's something that's adding value to you. However, if you don't want to continue, remember to cancel your subscription as it is set up to auto-renew. So some of the ways that people were searching for me, the analytics part is the part that I love. I love seeing how people are finding my profile and what they're searching for. So I knew that 80 people viewed my profile between, let's see, the last 90 days. So it was April to June. I appeared in LinkedIn searches 337 times in a week. And the keywords that led to me were Kylie Robertson, no surprise, Kylie Rutherford. I won the Rutherford Scholarship, so I can kind of see the tie there. Kylie Ross, I went to Ross Shepherd, Kylie Shepherd, Ross Shepherd, and Kylie Lang at the Jason Lang Scholarship. So they may not necessarily be looking for you, the person. I bet there is a Kylie Shepherd that somebody else is trying to find. But if somebody stumbles across my profile and they notice I have these scholarships and I have these awards and achievements, maybe they'll linger and be more inclined to talk to me. So it's worth it to know why and how you're coming up with searches. So just a little bit about company pages as well. Some of the benefits to having a corporate profile on LinkedIn. You can find potential talent. you can engage with others in the industry, and you can build a community. So by posting job opportunities to LinkedIn, you can even use their interface to review applicants. You don't have to have a separate job funnel that you direct them to. LinkedIn will offer you the ability to use their code and their website to review your application. So if you're not looking to build that functionality into your website, it can be a great time savings to you as well. It's also a great way to get the interested users engaging with your updates and sharing company info with the right audiences. So as I mentioned before, somebody who comments and is constantly engaging with my company on LinkedIn, if they ever apply for a job, I'm going to remember them. It works both ways. If you notice people who are commenting all the time and you suddenly have a position available, you might not even have to post it if you think that that candidate is the right one for the job. They've already found you. It takes a lot of the guesswork and a lot of the legwork out of recruiting. It's actually worth having a separate social strategy for LinkedIn in addition to your social media strategy because it's such a unique space to play in. You can also use your personal profile to start following your competitors and see how they're using the space and what kind of reactions they're getting, and then structure your updates accordingly. There's nowhere in the LinkedIn rulebook that says that you cannot follow the people who are in the same industry as you to see what they're doing right and analyze what they're doing wrong. It makes your company updates that much better. A lot of the same rules apply as well for updating your company page. You want to have up-to-date logos, locations, services. Change your creative collateral often, if you can, just to keep it fresh and engaging. So if you want to update your cover photo to reflect the Stampede, for instance. If you do it on Facebook, try to do it on LinkedIn. They have similar look and feels, and it will help, again, tie your brand collateral together as well. You can also now upload content directly through LinkedIn, which takes away the guesswork of appearance when you use a third-party application to do the updates for you. So, for instance, if you're using Hootsuite to manage your social networks and activity, you can post through Hootsuite, which is fine, but on LinkedIn it won't function and look the same way as it did if you just go to a LinkedIn site and manually update it yourself. There's greater creative control. You can make sure it's the exact update that you want. You can upload content so anyone interested in that content is getting it directly from you, not through that weird short link that Hootsuite provides where they have to click through and then it's hourly or whatever. So let them get your information from you. I feel like I'm ripping through this. Any questions so far? No, we're all good. Yeah?
I'm curious about if you can, as you're speaking, talk how it's useful for entrepreneurs who aren't searching for or recruiting.
Okay, useful for entrepreneurs. It's all about building a brand, right? As an entrepreneur, if you're the sole proprietor of your business, you want people to know who you are and what you do and recognize you for that. So a lot of keyword research needs to go into your LinkedIn profile. So anyone searching, maybe they have a company in mind. Maybe they're looking to find a candidate or a profile that does exactly what you do. So if your profile is formatted correctly with all the right keywords that you've defined as spaces you want to play in, you will come up in the search instead of someone like me who is working at a company or a company itself that offers the services that you do. Using words like entrepreneur or founder, owner, CEO, if you want to define your profile very carefully, you can have your name, and then as your title, you have to choose your title. LinkedIn automatically updates to your latest job. So mine, for instance, is social media specialist or bare method, but I have the ability to change that if I want. I can pick a different title that I'm currently holding. I'm also doing freelance. I can say, oh, I'm a freelance person in Calgary, Alberta. But defining those roles and those keywords is huge. There's also a little bit that's specific to companies that will work for entrepreneurs in the next 1 or 2 slides. So that'll come up again too. Hold it right here? Okay. Okay, I'll try to do this. Mic in front of my face instead of papers. Got it. The next slide actually, so here we go. There's also a lot of SEO play on LinkedIn. So playing with the search engines nicely is the best way to get noticed as a brand, as an entrepreneur, as a person, regardless. You want to come up in search results. So a pro tip for anyone who's really invested and interested in SEO, make sure to use your keywords and a descriptive link title on LinkedIn when you're linking to your website. You're able to define what the anchor link will look like, and this is huge and awesome backlink strategy if you want to build authoritative backlinks. So a visual would be great here. You can list your website on your profile, and you get up to 3. So you can choose your blog, your business site, your personal site. They have all these options for you, and then those are the anchor link text that appears. It'll say personal site, and then it'll link to my personal site. But if you choose other, you get to define the website title. So I can choose Rare Methods blog, listed as other. The website title can be Marketing Advertising in Calgary, and then link to raremethod.com. So what the search engine see is someone with a backlink from a site with a page rank of 9, and they say, wow, they must really know marketing and advertising in Calgary. They bump you up the search listings. So if you're a small business owner or an entrepreneur, can you imagine if you had, let's say, a smaller shop, but with 15 to 20 employees, and you ask every one of those employees to do that with their links on their LinkedIn page, you now have 20 to 30 page rank 9 backlinks coming into your site, and Google looks at that and says, wow, you really must know that topic, and bump you up above these other guys. So as an entrepreneur, again, as a small, medium, large business, any level of business, this is something everyone should look at because it will rank huge for your website. So business to business as well. LinkedIn is the ultimate B2B marketing tool. Know if you're getting anything out of it. They have insights and analytics. There's a separate analytics panel. So they don't give you a whole lot of depth in terms of search results or whatever, but they will tell you the number of followers that you have. So if followers go up and down, you know that your status updates and your content is getting either good reception or bad. Total impressions, people who have seen your updates or engaged with your updates, new followers in the last 7 days, impressions per update in the last 7 days, updates in the last 7 days. So it's all about updates, engagement, and followers. If you work with those statistics and track them carefully, you'll be able to gauge whether or not your LinkedIn strategy is having any effect. So don't ignore them. And there's a great, powerful advertising setup in LinkedIn as well. So you know on Facebook, you can define your Facebook ads. And say you want to target everyone in Calgary, and they have to be of a certain age, with a certain interest, and then off it goes, and it shows up in their little right-hand panel. LinkedIn also has advertising, but their setup is second to none. You can target many different groups. So, for instance, let's say you want to get a message out about oil and gas to a certain set of employees in Calgary. You can target your campaign, again, visual. So the paper's in front of my face. This is really tiny. I was hoping to be huge, but you can target your campaign to reach the exact audience that you have in mind. You can go by location, company, job title, school, skills, group, gender, age. You can target an ad to reach 5 people if that's all you want to reach. So if you're looking to, I don't know, steal employees away from another company and they have the skill sets that you want, you can run that ad. They cost a little more than Facebook advertising, but they're so precise. So yeah, if you're an oil and gas company, you need more biomechanical engineers, and you want the ones that work at Suncor because they train them perfect. I'm making all this up as I go. I have no idea what Suncor training is like, so don't read too much into that part. But let's say you want to reach Suncor employees only, and you want them to have a certain educational background, a certain skill set, a certain amount of job experience. You can put your ad in front of those 10 people. So the next time they check their LinkedIn, they'll see your ad and see that you have a more enticing offer for them. Maybe they'll get in touch with you. Or you can look into your ad analytics and see how many of them have viewed and clicked on your ad and proactively get in touch with them. Best part is the company on the other side of that can't do a whole heck of a lot about it. They can't tell you to stop targeting ads because they have no say in how you target your ads. It's a little sneaky, but it's very effective.
What kind of dollar investment are you looking at for a LinkedIn ad campaign?
It depends on the pay-per-click you want to go for. You can set up parameters where you don't want to pay a certain amount per day, you want to pay a certain amount per click, and it also depends on the keywords that you want to define as well. So if they're very popular, just as any other search engine ad campaign, the more popular the keywords, the higher the price is. But if you're only looking to get 5 or 10 clicks, you can define that as well so you don't go overboard on your LinkedIn advertising spend. If it's a more general campaign, then again the cost comes down lower. So it depends. It all depends on your keywords really. But you can set it up to be $25 a day, $100 a day, $100 an hour. It's really defined by you.
What's the difference between impressions
Impressions, or anyone who was, sorry, if anyone can't hear the questions, the question was the difference between impressions and clicks. Impressions is anybody who saw the update, whether or not they engaged with it. It appeared in the newsfeed of so-and-so. We can see that they scrolled past it, so we made an impression on them by appearing with your name and your update on their newsfeed. Click is somebody who clicked like, or clicked comment, or clicked on the link that you linked them to. So clicks are that next level of engagement where they didn't just see it, they wanted to interact with it. Any others? Okay. So that kind of takes me to the end of what I had prepared. Some conclusions, some takeaways. LinkedIn is different than Facebook and Twitter. Treat it accordingly. Be strategic about your profile. Do some keyword research. Define what defines you and figure out how you want to include that on your LinkedIn profile. Keep the information fresh or accept the consequences. Become a content producer. Produce content for yourself, for your company, for your brand, for the groups you want to be a part of. It adds value to you and it shows that you know the industry that you're speaking to. And having a company presence is extremely valuable and treat it as such. Have a separate strategy defined for LinkedIn. That way you can know if it's being effective or not. And that's it, that's all. Totally open floor questions now that don't have to be slide related. I get to pick one, right? Way in the back.
So you've spoken to brand building and also B2B and B2C potentially. How do you cope with the fact that, unlike Facebook, LinkedIn hasn't given you the ability as a community manager to build the brand of your organization? So groups are an amazing way to do that, and yet truly you have to post as John Smith versus ABC companies. So what strategies and techniques do you use to continue to build your corporate brand? As an individual, sometimes as an employee.
It's very frustrating. I'm not crazy about the fact that I cannot act as Roy Method on LinkedIn. It drives me nuts, to be perfectly honest. But it is what it is, and until enough people make enough noise about it, it's probably not going to change. So the best advice I have to offer on that is to build such a strong affinity between yourself, your name, and the company that you work for, that there's no question as to who you're speaking on behalf of. So if I post on my personal page all of the updates that Rare Method is posting, there's no question that I work at Rare Method. If I want to go into a group and link to Rare Method's things, it's building that tie and getting the message out, whether it be as a person or a company. As a company is preferable, but even as a person, you can still have an impact and make a difference in your analytics if you're choosing to update mostly for your company. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. Like I agree, it's kind of the best thing we can do, but it does a disservice to the company because you're building a tie between your person.
Oh, I know.
And then
I'm just telling you, I can't change it. If I sent them an email every day, if I got that, super pro awesome account and I could send 25, I'd send them 25 one every day until they changed it, but I can't. Best you can do is to build that strong tie between your brand, your company's brand, and operate on behalf of your company. Be a brand ambassador and encourage all of your other company or all of your other employees to do the same. Okay. What's that?
Sorry, can you talk about No, I was just talking. That was a private conversation I heard.
Sorry, I just wanted to add something really quick. That part that you just talked about when you're adding somebody you don't really know them, you haven't met them in real life, add a note. I have so many people that I have to look at how do I know this person and have I met them before? So I think it's really important. But this is I think a little known fact. I don't know how many people here know that, but if you actually get ignored or declined on LinkedIn more than about 3 or 4 times, LinkedIn actually puts you on a restricted profile, and what that means is that you cannot add anybody anymore unless you have that direct email. So that's why if you're adding people, it's really important that you add that note where you know them, because if you get declined a couple times in a row, LinkedIn kind of goes, you're a spammer or you're a bot or whatever, and they kind of they put you in Facebook or in LinkedIn jail. So you have to write them to get out of it. So I think that's pretty important to know, and yeah, I hope you guys send notes. I certainly will. So let's add that.
Follow-up question to this: in LinkedIn, how do you know you're in jail?
You'll try to.
It says restricted.
Yeah, it'll say restricted on your profile.
Oh, it actually will say that.
And you have to go and send them an email and explain you're a real person.
But you will actually have restricted
it's a big red flag on your profile either. Somebody want to go home and create one and just add everyone here and see what happens, that'd be great. Yeah. Send out a tweet, update us all, I want to know. Thank you, Jonathan.
They
Appreciate the shout out.
They send you an email and they warn you.
Oh, they send you an email and warn you first.
Like they just say, hey, you've added
Yeah.
too many people.
Too many creepy, you look creepy, we don't want that.
But then eventually they live to the bed.
Okay.
It's like you
So,
get out of jail.
Eventually you get out of jail, you roll doubles in Monopoly or something, they'll let you loose. Thank you, by the way, to both of you guys. It's something I didn't even think of to address because it's something I've never come across. But don't be spammy and creepy and get yourself thrown into jail, that's not a good thing.
Personal endorsements from contacts, useful or?
Endorsements from your contacts. I would say they can be very useful, but if you're getting them from everyone you've ever been in contact with ever, it looks like a play of desperation. So if you can, get one from each company that you listed your experience with. Try to get your direct report or somebody higher than them even, and reference very specific value that you added to the company. So Kylie's editing skills were really appreciated during her time at XYZ company. Be as specific as possible, not just, oh, she's a fabulous person, you'd be crazy not to want her. That's what your reference checks are for when you have that personal connection on the phone. If somebody wants to know about your personality, that's what they ask for. But on LinkedIn, it's all about your skills. So if you're asking for references, and again, don't do this when you're starting to look for a job. If you get 8 references all in the same week, people know what you're doing. So periodically ask your contacts and updates for any references that you feel you don't have a sufficient amount for. So if you're missing one company where you have no references and you have 1 or 2 from all the other companies, try approaching somebody you knew there. And if you can, ask them through LinkedIn, but ask them through a text or an email or heck, even a tweet. Like, get in touch with them personally as well, so not just with the mail message. Keep that up to date. Don't do it all at once, and ask them to be very specific to the value added that you contributed to the company. Anyone else? I guess that's it.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Kylie. I have to say the first thing that caught my attention was I don't know what it is, but I cannot change my profile picture in any social network that I have from my Roughnecks jersey. I cannot do it. And if you only see my face, you cannot see my jersey. And I can't do it in LinkedIn either, and I've had many comments about that. So I don't know if anybody else is like that, but my picture on LinkedIn is not professional. It's totally what my passion is. So, thank you very much. I appreciate you coming. If you have any more questions, if you want to, if you weren't, didn't want to actually post, say them out loud, feel free to put something on our Twitter feed, and we'll address them. And we had a couple questions whether we'd make the slide presentation that Kylie did kind of put together. We'll make it available. Don't know yet how we'll do that, but we will.
I'll post it out through Rare Method. Also, if anybody has any questions, you can add me to LinkedIn. I will accept. Tweet me at any time. Like, anything that comes up after the fact, feel free.
Okay, so again, it was my pleasure to sponsor the breakfast today, John McTeague. Thanks, a big thanks to Kingsland for letting us come back again. And it's a warm day, so I apologize that we've tried to let a draft go through here, but it's pretty warm along the window, so I apologize for that. Thanks for coming, and look forward. We'll have an August event, and you will see it somewhere the week of August the 12th. We will post it on our Twitter feed, okay? So you will get the update for that. Okay, thank you so much for coming.